Welcome to Cooking with Dragons. My name is Rourke, and today I'm making deer chili. Got some ground venison. And because this is so lean, I'm going to be adding about 40 grams worth of pork. I'm using this ground sausage here for that. Then I'm going to be using some all-purpose seasoning, which has salt and pepper and paprika and stuff like that. Also going to be using some garlic. I'm going to be using these sun-dried tomatoes. I'm also going to be using some beef tallow for the onion, this whole onion, and then as well as a little bit of tomato paste and some pinto beans, and that should be good. Yeah, so I'm going to start out by just chopping up this onion real quick, and then I'm going to go from there. Alrighty, so got these onions sauteing away, just getting a little bit of color on them. Then I'm going to add those sun-dried tomatoes in their entirety. If you can find them julienne, that works best, but you know, whole ones are just fine too. Just add a little bit of kosher salt to them before I started, so that kind of helps it out too. So I'll be sure to list the ingredients of everything I use. But yeah, I might throw some brown sugar in here, maybe some palm sugar, that could work, but yeah. Oh yeah. And then I just refill that with water, and then I add that to it once I'm at the chili part. But yeah, it's pretty much clockwork from there. That going now, just letting that simmer down a little bit before I add the meat. Okay, so here's where we're at now. Just gonna let this meat brown up. Although, yeah. Once it's all completely brown, then we'll get to the next part. We'll let that kind of cook out, and then we're gonna finish this off in the oven for a little while, and then it should be good by dinner. You know, when I first did this kind of chili, it was just regular beef, about maybe 2 pounds or so, and I used a bigger pan, but I've actually really come to like cast iron. But this cooks it a lot faster. Actually, you can actually have this within 2 hours if you really wanted to. And I've done that in the past on this channel, so you can see some of those chilies that I made. I've made a Mexican style chili. I don't think I've put that many chilies out here, but like I think I've done a regular style chili where I have used sun-dried tomatoes before, but like not this many, but yeah. Okay, gonna add the seasoning now. No specific measurement, just go with your heart. Use feeling. And once that's all browned up and nicely chunky, or as thin as you want it, just start folding everything in. Alright, that's about good. Time to start folding in. Alrighty, so the next thing is we're just going to let this render out a little bit, and then once that's pretty much all settled in there, I'm going to make it a little well again, and I'm going to add some tomato paste. Turn that heat down a little bit. That's also why you don't really want to get really too much of a char on this when you're first making it, because otherwise it will burn even more. But I like that too a little bit, but yeah. Alright. Once there's enough to make a dry well in there, I'm going to add that tomato paste to let it cook, let it toast off a little bit, and then add a little bit of water, and I'll add the beans, and that'll be good. Alrighty, that should be good. Now I'm just going to add some tomato paste. Let that toast off for a second, or envelop in those juices pretty much. And then slowly fold that in. There's also a sun-dried tomato paste. I might try that next time. Yeah, it's getting a nice crust on it already now. Now, take this, add some filtered water to it. About halfway. That way you get the rest of that oil and stuff out of it. And there we go. And last but not least, pinto beans. I like using refried beans when I have a chance, but yeah. And you just mix that in here. Mold that in. This is usually, like I said, this is usually done in about 2 hours, but yeah. You can also add ketchup to this if you really need to or feel like it, but I don't think this will really need it, but yeah. Some Annatto. There we go. That'll give it a nice, warm, earthy taste flavor to it, as well as some color. Yeah. And then from here, just kind of let it simmer out for the rest of the time. And then, like I said, I'm going to finish this off in the oven for the last few minutes or so. But this is about all you need to do. And then you can just kind of leave it alone and do what you need to do. You know, take a shower and all that stuff. But yeah. Alright, I'll be back when it's about done. Alright, and it's been about 2 hours now. Time to see what we got. So far, so good. Give it a little bit of stir. So far, the oil is still in there, so this will balance out once that water moisture has pretty much rendered out. That oil will become more sleek or more incorporated in with the meat. So we're just gonna for the last hour or so, we're gonna leave this uncovered, and then that should help the oil reduce into the meat and get rid of some of that moisture. Yeah. I also decided to add a little bit of palm sugar. You can also use brown sugar just to kind of sweeten out that heat. It has a bit of as it stands right now, it's actually pretty lip burning hot, but which isn't bad. But I kind of want to round that out a little bit, so hopefully that palm sugar will do the trick. So this needs like I said, this needs another maybe hour or two, and that should be good. Now, alternatively, if you have the right stove for it, like one of those electric coil stoves, that's good for a recipe like this, where you're just letting it slow cook for hours on end. Like on an electric coil stove, you can let this go for like 18 hours or something like that. That was actually the first time I ever made chili was on a stove like that. But on a gas stove, you only got maybe 2 hours or so, and you can still finish it off in the oven if you want to. But yeah, on a glass top stove, it just stays hot pretty much. So you can't really run that for as long. But yeah, it's coming along pretty nicely, I think. Alrighty, so we are just about done. Well, it is done. I'm just letting it kind of cool off a little bit, and then it's gonna give it a go from there, and this will be dinner well served. This should hopefully round out pretty well. The first time I ever made chili, actually, like I said, I used 2 habaneros for it, and it actually rendered out pretty well. And I lived in an apartment building type thing, and everyone on my floor or in my part of the area, some people enough. There was enough to feed a few people, and they said it was really good. But I mean, it gave them heartburn, but they said it was worth it. But yeah. So this shouldn't be work level spicy, but should have a nice, good kick to it. Alright, so now I'm just letting it cool off for a second, and then one final taste. Not the final taste, but yeah. Alright. Should just take about 10 minutes, and then I'm gonna add one more little thing to it. Just a little bit of cocoa powder. That should be enough to round it out. Like 1/8 of a teaspoon. That's about it. And that should smooth it out and make it taste pretty good. Let's see how it is now, though. As it is right now, it has a little bit of a watery taste to it, but that's the idea of adding some cocoa to it, just to round that out. It's got a nice little heat in the back here, but there's still a lot of other flavor there. But yeah. Also, I got this coffee cup that has a little dragon inside of it. Quick cameo for that. Alright, it's had some cool down time. Alright. Last thing I'm gonna do, like I said, I'm gonna add some cocoa, as well as a little bit of MSG. Got that in there nicely now. Now let's give that a quick stir. So that MSG should wake everything up, and that cocoa should should make it nice and smooth. Ideally. Another taste. It's always important to taste it while you're making something like this. That way you know what it needs and what it doesn't. And now it's good. Alright, let's get it to a bowl and dress it up even further, just a little bit. Maybe some cheese, and that should be pretty much all it needs. And then I will see you at the table. Alrighty, so here we have nice deer chili. A nice little project for when you're off work and you just want to make something comforting and warm, for the winter days. This is it. Decided to put a little bit of Colby cheese on it, just because I like cheese on my chili. But you don't have to do that. That's just me. Alrighty, let's try this out. That works really well, I think. Nice and meaty, just like you want in the chili. Has a nice, well-rounded heat. It's not the kind of heat that burns out your mouth or leaves a singe on your lips. That's a good way to enjoy chili, I think. But if you wanted to make it spicier, you could add some hot sauce. That's kind of how I like to design my chilies. Is uh, start with very little spiciness and just let you work your way up to it the way how you like it. Like a chili like this needs some more. That's where those habaneros. That's where a little bit of those habaneros come in. So you kind of get that a little bit, but it's not as dominant because the longer you cook a something like a pepper in there, the more rounded out it becomes, and it's not as harsh as you would as if it were eaten straight up. But yeah, all right, dear chili, check it out. Thank you for watching. My name is Warren for Cooking with Dragons. We are exploring world food. You guys have to keep on feeding the fire.